Hi, this video is aimed at new users of SpiderTanks. I hope you find it useful. I've tried to cover all the various areas such as how to get the game loading, settings in the game, and all the various game modes that are available. Also other things like Discord, how to apply to be a pilot on someone else's tank, and stuff like that. So like I say, I hope you find it useful. Like, subscribe, and yes, let's get straight into the video. Let's get you playing. Right, so today we're going to get going playing SpiderTanks. So I'm in my account, the new account that I set up. I've paid nothing so far. I'm literally a completely free account. And let's go to, I've gone to Games, and we're going to click on Download Launcher. And we got that there, save there. I'll do. Let's open up. Wants to store stuff on my computer, that's fine. Let's click yes. Welcome to Gala Launcher. Yep, cool beans. I agree. Yes, I agree. Now it's installing. Doesn't take too long. Here we go. It's installing. Now it's got completed. And click close. Nothing's happened here. If you're using Brave browser, you may need to disable shields to install the Gala launcher properly. Right, disable shields. Here we go. So this is how we do it. Disable shields. Boom. There we go. There we go. Turn the shields off, and then we can play. So you have to turn the shields off to be able to play. Cool. So that's done. So yeah, remember you've got to do your shields. Take your shields off. Oh, wrong one. That one. Take your shields off. Otherwise you can have problems. It's all there, straight there in front of you. To play SpiderTanks, we just come to here. Thank you, Brave. We come to here. We click play. And now SpiderTanks is loading. Checks for new content, if it's got to download anything, any updates. Now it's loading main menu. And we'll quickly go over this. There are missions, daily missions, where you can get stuff for your garage. So it's ideal if you've got your own spider tank. If you haven't, doesn't matter, still worth doing, so that when you do get your spider tank, you've got loads of supplies, so you can upgrade your spider tank. If we click on the view all missions, you've got daily ones and weekly ones, and then a daily login. So I can claim some of this. I just click claiming reward, and then you've successfully claimed your reward. If I don't like any of these, so let's say I don't like this, I can click that and it will change. Do something else. There we go. You can only do it once. There's your weekly, and there's your daily missions. You obviously have to try and get hold of these different bodies and weapons to complete these, but you can do that through the Discord, which I'll put in the description below. You can request to use other people's tanks, or you can simply be a pilot, and we'll go over that in a second. If I click back, now we've got the main area here. You've got play to earn. This is the victory points, how many victory points you've got, and those get turned into silk. today I think it's about 428 victory points is equal to 1 silk. There's your honour. Now the highest you can get in honour is 1200. I've only got 333. This is a relatively new account that I set up in a previous video, which again I'll link in this video. And you do not start on 1200. You can increase your honour by doing various things, which again we'll go over in a second. And how many NFTs you're holding, which is none. So we go here. So let's say that you wanted to play and start earning. You don't have a tank of your spider tank of your own. So we can go to garage, and then we click up here, we would click the pilot. This is basically us. Someone else who owns the tank is called a captain, and they can sort of rent them out, and you can play them as you're playing the game as a pilot. It is now possible with a recent upgrade that in Discord you can actually ask these captains, people that own the tanks, to sort of let you lease the spider tank off them for sort of like 24 hours, I think is the minimum. And then you can do it that way. But they tend to depend on the level of the tank that it is. They might want someone who's got a high level and a lot of experience playing, because obviously they want to get the most return for them letting you use their tank. Let's come back. So yeah, so I've clicked that, and then you would just simply click play. Some of these are unavailable because you're not using your own spider tank. Doesn't matter. This is the one we want, which is battle matchmaking. And then you simply just click that, and then it will go into a game. It can take sometimes up to 3 or 4 minutes. I think the longest I've had is about 6 minutes before you get into a game. But they are working on improving that. And improving on the matchmaking as well, so that you get a fair teams against each other. Click back. When you go to play the game, you will have various abilities that you can use. It's just a case of, personally, I would experiment with these and then play with them, and then you'll see the sort of scenarios and situations when they work best. There's only a few that I really tend to use. I use that one, which is the artillery turret. I use that one, which is the cannon turret. I use the cloak drone. I use, depending on what I've got, if I've got, say, a flamethrower one, I might use the relay drone, and the decoy one as well when I've got a flamer. Quite often I'll have a repair drone, which basically repairs you. And if you're doing chicken chaser, which is basically picking up chicks, quite often I'll use a speed booster, depending on what spider tank you've got, because you might have a slow one. So these are all things that you can select. And we go back. You've got, if you had your own tank and you wanted to lease it out, you could go to dropship. You'd click in here, and then you'd have your body here that you would then put into a slot, and then a weapon that you'd put into a slot, and then you would lease it out so that other people can use it when they're trying to play. There's also a leaderboards here, so you go on there and you can see just where you are compared to other people, what level you're at, and things like that. And elo rank, you quite often hear people talking about elo rank quite a lot. The higher the better. The settings here, should you need to change anything, you can report a bug. Obviously try and describe as best you can. And there's also settings here where you can change turn off text chat, kill streak icons if you don't want those appearing. You can change your crosshair as well. Graphics, I've got ultra, max frames, vertical sync on, and all this stuff. So you can change this should you need to if your game's running a bit slow. Audio, don't really need to change. Input, you can change some of your keys if you wanted to. Like for down here, I've got ability ability 2 I've got set to different mouse buttons. Reload mouse button 3, fire weapon. You can also change other stuff here as well. Okay, and then we've got camera shake on. Over here is your user ID. Now if you do use Discord and you try to get a user in there to lease out their tank, they'll ask you for your user ID, so you'll need your user ID to paste, and they'll probably ask you what your level is as well. So if I go show profile, quite often they like a screenshot of this as well, which basically gives them an idea of what your current rank is, how many games you've played, and your win sort of percentage, because obviously they want to get the most return from their tank that they're leasing out. And down here you've got your social. Yeah, if you've got any friends you can add a friend, and then you can also create party as well. So I'll just create a party and leave party, and that's pretty much it. That's the gist of it. There is a lot to learn. There's definitely different styles of gameplay, which we're going to go over next, and depending on what the gameplay style is, the game mode rather, depending on what the game mode is, you need to have different abilities set up for that game, and that also depends on the type of spider tank you have as well, whether you've got a fast one, slow one, what your weapon is, etc. But the best way is just to play and learn and listen. If people give you advice, it's always wise to sometimes listen to what other people are saying, especially if they've got the experience. There are various game modes. You have Team Deathmatch, which is basically explode the enemy's team's tanks while protecting your allies. Simple and brutal. You basically just have to kill the other team's spider tanks. Obviously working together as a team is a must to succeed. Then we have capture the flag, or rather capture the chicken. The flag is basically a chicken. So in this one you basically have to capture the flag and keep hold of it. While you keep hold of it, there's a timer that goes up, keeping how long you've kept hold of it, and it's basically whoever keeps hold of it the longest. Then we have chicken chase. In this one you got to be careful what abilities you pick, especially if you have a slow tank, and basically the aim of the game is to deliver precious poultry through enemy fire to deposit more chickens than the opposing team. So you collect the chicken, you take it to the drop off point. There's 2 on every map as far as I'm aware, usually split over 2 sides. There's one on one side, one on the other side of the map. And that's basically it. But again, you've got to be very careful, depending on your tank that you've got, what abilities you're going to pick. And also, it's all too easy to get distracted. You end up shooting the other players rather than concentrating on collecting your chickens and delivering them, because it's collecting the chicken, delivering them, that enables you to win that particular game. Then we have King of the Hill. On this one you have a control point, and basically you have to get control of the control point. When you stand in it, you'll have a bar which will a percentage bar which will increase until it gets to the other side, which shows that you're holding it, and then you just defend it. When it's yours, it will go the colour of your team, so red for red team and blue for blue team. Again, once you've got hold of it, you don't have to stay in it. You can just go around the outside and defend it from there. And then obviously if the other team starts to sort of capturing it and starts to go a bit red because they're capturing it, then you can just go over into the zone again to capture it back. Then we have Poultry Pusher. Basically, you have a big giant chicken, and you've got to stay in the circle. While you stay in the circle, your chicken will move. Now, this is the one that newbies can get caught out on quite a lot. You have obviously three people on your team, including yourself. The best way to do this, as far as I'm aware, is basically you have two stay on the chicken to keep it moving and defend it, and one goes off and tries to distract the opposing team. There may be scenarios where you may have to have two or all three of you go and attack if you're losing badly and you need to take over the other team's chicken. If there is no one standing in the circle for a certain period of time, the chicken will start going backwards, which is why you try to kill the opposing team so that their chicken starts going backwards while yours is going forwards. And that's basically the gist of it. Again, you've got to be careful what abilities you pick depending on the type of spider tank you have. But the usual way of people playing it is two stay in the circle and defend, and one goes and attacks the opposing team. Then the final one is kill confirmed. So basically you destroy the enemy tanks. When you do, a little egg will drop, and when that egg drops, for that kill to count, you have to go over it, which is basically collecting it. So if you go over the top of it like that, it then will count and you'll increase your score, and that's basically it. So be careful. Obviously you can kill the enemy, but if you can't get to the enemy because there's too many spider tanks there from the team, then you're not going to be able to go and get the egg. So quite often you can end up with a scenario where you go to collect the egg and then you die, and it just balances out. And that's it. That is the 6 game modes that currently exist. Let's look at Discord, the Gala Games section on Discord. Basically going to go to discord.gg/go Gala Games all together. I'll put the link down in the description of this video, and I'll hit return, and accept invite. Let's go in. Boom. Opening Discord. I'm already on there anyway. Tell you about what they've got going on at the moment, which is Mayhem. And if we go over on the left hand side, and what you'd be looking for, they've got sections for all their games, but today we're talking about SpiderTanks. So if we go down, and then you have SpiderTanks, you have a general discussion area which we can go in, and then you just follow the conversations that are going on in here. We have SpiderTanks announcements. Whenever there's an announcement, it will be in here. This is specific for SpiderTanks Mayhem, which is going on at the moment. And then this is a bit that I want to talk about, is the SpiderTanks pilot program. So if you want to pilot someone else's tank, so they're the captain and you want them to lease their tank to you, then you would click in here and you would get something like that pop up. Someone would be posting a request for someone to pilot their tank, and then you would just put your ID in there and your details and basically say, yeah, I can do it, and then hopefully you get a response and they'll send the tank to you. There is up the top right hand side here pinned messages. If we click on pinned messages, there is actually details about how you should put your message out there. So for an example, post, so if you're doing a post for a captain, so you're captain and you're looking for a player to lease your tank for you, then basically this is how you would lay it out. So you have an example post for captains, looking for a player at least hero, so that's the rating, to pilot 10 wins minimum. So you're basically saying, yeah, you can pilot this, but I'd like you to get at least 10 wins. And that's if you're the captain. But if you're looking to be the pilot of someone else's tank, then this is an example of how to lay it out. So you basically go, and there's my ID, your in-game name, and your favourite tanks that you like to use, and then basically your details, so they can see what level you're at, and your win, matches played, how often you play, sort of thing, and your win percentage. And that's how to sort of lay it out. So that's all there available if you look at. It's a pinned message. Hope you enjoyed. That's all, folks. Catch you on the next one.